friends! Hello! How's it going? So today we are going to be doing probably my all-time favorite thing to film because I just love being shady and sassy about makeup. This is going to be an anti-haul for the summer. I'm really excited. I kind of just decided to visit my good friend Trend Mood today and kind of go through her profile and look at some of the stuff that's been coming out, and it was a treat. It was a real treat to get to see some of the crap that brands have been trying to push out recently. I have a lot of thoughts and opinions on this, and especially some stuff. I just want to say, I feel like people can sometimes get a little bit offended with these videos or any sort of like negative type makeup video. It's really all in good fun. If you think something is beautiful and you want to buy it, buy it. Like I am never one to tell you. I don't like doing disclaimers because I kind of think they're silly, but I don't ever want to make anyone feel like they're stupid for wanting to buy something that I don't like, because I'm sure I buy things that you think are stupid. So with that being said, let's just jump right into it. Know that we're just doing this for fun. We're just doing it to have a laugh. And yeah, let's just jump right into it. Okay. So I won't be buying the MAC times Patrick Starr summer collection, and here's why. I do think it's beautiful. I do think the packaging is really nice. I love that they collaborated with a YouTuber. I think that's so awesome. But all of these collabs that come out have just been so kind of like meh to me. Like all of the Patrick Starr collabs, none of them have really stood out as being like, this is going to be amazing. Like none of them have done that. The only thing I almost bought was the powder, but then I heard it was just MAC's normal powder in new packaging and like a different color. So I don't know, this whole thing kind of seems like a grab to me and a little bit of a reach. I know it's gonna sell out because Patrick has a lot of fans and everything, but I'm just not super into it. The one thing I was tempted to buy was the highlighter because it looks gorgeous, but we've had so many gold highlighters come out this year. Like we had Ambreezy, we have so many gold highlighters at this point that like if you're gonna come out with a gold highlight, it better be made of real actual gold, because we have so many options at this point. And MAC's highlighter form, like MAC's kind of like, I don't know, I feel like they used to be really super hyped up, and a lot of people I know still like them and like collect all of their limited edition stuff. But once they did like the Simpson collection I was kind of out on MAC. Like I was like, I don't know, man, this is getting a little weird. So I'm definitely not going to buy that. And I also think MAC stuff, I have some MAC highlighters and some MAC products, and while they're good and I like them, I think they're overpriced, to be quite honest. And I can't imagine that this would be any different. So the next thing I'm not going to buy, I am absolutely not going to be buying the Kat Von D 10th anniversary collection palette. Is the packaging pretty because she hand drew it? Of course it's pretty because she hand drew it. Is this literally just like the My Vida Loca palette, the rainbow palette? None of these colors are fascinating or interesting. It's so bland, and the reviews have come back and they've not been great for this palette. Like everyone says it's very lackluster once you actually get it. It's small, it's very expensive. Kat Von D lately, I don't know, I feel like she was really like hitting every single mark the first couple of years she was out. Like everything she put out was fantastic, and I was a big Kat Von D fan. That Locket foundation was the first high-end foundation I ever bought. Like I was a big Kat Von D fan. I really supported her brand, but lately everything she's put out has just been like, besides the brow products she just put out because I really like that pomade, but everything else she's put out, especially in the terms of like eyeshadow palettes, it's just lacking creativity. A rainbow palette is not something that we need on the market. You know what we needed, honestly, if she took out those like 6 shades, the first 6 shades that are all reds and like tans and maroons, and she'd put in like bright greens or bright yellows and made it a bright palette that was really authentic to her brand. I think that would have been cool, and that's something I could get behind. But something that's kind of basic and almost, it feels like, I don't want to say it feels like very little thought went into it, because I'm sure I don't want to ever discredit a brand and be like, oh, they didn't put any thought into it, but it feels very lazy to just put out like a rainbow eyeshadow palette. at this day and age. We have the rainbow eyeshadow. Like, it feels very chintzy, and also I actually like went into the store and saw the packaging. It just feels kind of cheap. Like, it doesn't feel great for something that's supposed to be their 10th. And the highlighter they came out with it, mind you, I'll post a picture of that as well. She came out with a highlighter and it is getting horrible reviews. It has like 3 reviews on the Sephora, 3 stars on the Sephora website, which is bad for Sephora, like really bad. Everybody's saying they absolutely hate it, and it's just not doing well. And I'm not even surprised, because I got the highlighting, the Metal Crush one that's on sale right now at Sephora. I got that highlighting palette and I literally had to return it because it was just so bad. Like, it was just so bad. Yeah, I'm out on that 100%. Okay, I don't think I'm gonna buy the new BH Cosmetics baked eyeshadow like Galaxy palette. I'll post a picture. It's pretty, don't get me wrong, and I think the hot pinks are kind of cool, and I do love the formula of BH Cosmetics baked shadows. I think they're fantastic. But I have the Galaxy Chic palette from so long ago. Like, I bought it like a year and a half ago, and I never, ever, ever reach for it because it's kind of hard for me, at least, to create an entire look with baked eyeshadows. They just have a weird, different formula that makes it hard to do. And I'm not one of those people that just like pulls out for like one shade, like pulls out a whole palette for one shade. Like, if I pull a palette, I want it to be able to do the entire look with that palette, and I can't do that with these BH Cosmetics palettes. Just more, I feel like BH has been very innovative, but I wish they would continue that. I wish they wouldn't follow the track of like Urban Decay and Too Faced and have one product that does really well, so they just keep making different versions of it, like Urban Decay with the Naked palettes, Too Faced with the chocolate bars, peach palettes, all of that. I wish they would continue to be innovative, because the Festival palette, the Life's a Festival from BH Cosmetics, was fantastic. Like, it was really good. This just feels a little kind of like boring. We've seen it before. We all kind of have the Galaxy Chic or the Supernova. Like, let's move on from that and do something different and more creative like what they have been doing. Urban Decay came out with another boring palette. It's the Urban Decay Born to Run, I guess. Guys, like, I don't know. Spooky Lips and Fat Hips, I was watching one of her videos. I was watching the video we did together. We did a collab, and you guys can check it out. I'll link it right here. But I was watching that video, and she made a really good point about Urban Decay used to be that like cool friend that like was edgy and like smoked cigarettes and like had tattoos, and you were like, oh my god, like, you're so edgy and cool. And now it's just like, what is this? Born to Run, and it's like a travel palette for the summer, and it's got earth tones and like boring. Here's the problem. At a certain point, it's 100% the brand's fault because they've put out so much and so oversaturated the market. But it's also like, you're now competing not only with the brands that are in Sephora and Ulta, you're competing with brands like Juvia's Place, Beauty Bakery. You're competing with Colored Rain. You're competing with brands that are so much more creative, and these prestige brands and like Sephora just aren't stepping up to that. Like, it's not even that this is like a terrible palette. It's just compared to all the other palettes in the world that you could buy, why would I buy this one? I think honestly that's the problem, is that little like indie brands are starting to become really, really popular because people are understanding and seeing how creative and great they are. And even you have places like, I'm sorry I'm going on a tangent, but even you have places like the Shop Hush app, where you can get super cheap palettes that are dupes for all of these palettes. And it's like, why would I buy this boring little palette? I don't know. I applaud them for trying something different with packaging, because they did do something kind of different than what they normally would have done. But it's just like, come on, Urban Decay. Where is that like spice, that fire, that like cool? This isn't cool. This is not edgy, nor fun, nor crazy. This is just kind of boring, to be quite honest. So, oh, Too Faced is doing this whole thing. Too Faced is turning 20 years old. They started in 1998, and what they are doing to celebrate this is come out with a palette that has 10 of the original shadows they put out paired with their 2018 remastered versions of those shadows. I think this is so dumb. I'm sorry. The packaging is kind of cool too. Like, I don't absolutely despise the packaging on the front. I think that's kind of different. They did like a graffiti, like 90s style with like the millennial pink, whatever. Here's my problem. Why would I want 20-year-old formulas. Do you know how much we've like revolutionized makeup in the last 20 years and how many new formulas we have and how many awesome new things we're doing? Why would I want the formula that you used 20 years ago? I understand, like, I think it would have been cooler, Frank. I still wouldn't have bought it because these shades are just kind of silly, but I think it would have been cooler if they just like did actually the remastered 10 shades. Why would you include the shades from 20 years ago? You're literally saying they're not good anymore. We needed to remaster them to meet the standards of 2018 by putting them side by side in the palette. You're literally saying that. Why would I want to buy just so I can compare which was worse and better? That's not the point of a palette. This is like a YouTube, who said this? I was watching somebody's anti-hauls and they were like, you're making this to be a YouTube video. They're making this so somebody can make a YouTube video that's like, look at how their shadows were 20 years ago and how they are now. That's not like realistic for day-to-day life, what people want to put on their eyes. Nobody wants to put on eyeshadow that's 20 years old. I'm sorry, nobody wants to do it. I just am like, I don't even are you guys gonna buy this? Like, is anybody gonna buy this Too Faced palette? I'm so confused by it. I don't know why they ever thought this was a good idea. I'm like so confused by this Too Faced palette. You guys have no idea. So let's talk about Life's a Drag, the Hooda Beauty launch. Here's the thing. I don't hate this palette. I see what he wanted to do, where he wanted to have like a neutral palette with a colorful palette sort of mixed together and then have the two shimmers, use those shimmers for either a neutral or an eye-popping, really like colorful look. And I even debated on Twitter buying this when it launched. I did a poll and I was like, do you guys want to see a review? Like, I'll totally review it and buy it. And I was sitting there on the website and I was about to buy it and I was just looking at it and I was like, as much as I see what he was trying to do and respect what he was trying to do, I don't need this palette, and I don't think a lot of you guys need this palette. You already have the neutrals, so there's half the palette that you didn't need. And the bright colors, I duped in my collection in like a second. I think if you're a beginner to makeup or you don't have a lot of palettes, this would be a fantastic palette for you because it has a little bit of everything. But I think if you're like me and you need to watch anti-hauls frequently so you don't buy excessive amounts of makeup, which is probably why you're watching this video, I think if you're like me and you have already a ton of eyeshadow palettes, the only reason I would have been buying that palette was to support Manny, and I'm not even that big of a Manny MUA fan. I've kind of decided, and I'll talk a little bit about Hooda Beauty, I guess, since we're on the topic, because she just came out with like a lipstick line, which I'm not going to buy, and now she has like this, the Hooda Beauty palette. It's not that the Hooda Beauty palette is bad. I just don't think I'm going to be buying, unless, don't hold me to this, because Jaclyn Hill's in the talks of something, and I'll probably pick that up, because I don't know. But you know why it is because she's reputably had, like, her reputation for putting out things is pretty good. She's put out pretty quality stuff always. And I just don't have that same feeling. And I also feel like with Jack, and this is kind of shady, I guess, but because I like all of these people, I don't have a problem with any of these influencers. But I feel like Jaclyn has a lot of passion for makeup. I know she's lost her passion for YouTube. That's a different story. But for makeup, she has so much. She sits on the floor for like hours talking about it. Like, she genuinely, I feel, loves makeup. And I don't always get that vibe from Manny and Laura. I don't see their cosmetics brand as having a deep, passionate love for makeup. I see it as we can capitalize off this because we have 5 million subscribers who will buy this from us. I don't see it as like we are passionate, and that's why I don't think they're going to be that good. Say what you will about any of these brands. The reason that they got where they are today is because they started from a place of passion. They started from a place of really genuinely loving makeup, and I don't see that from Manny MUA or from Laura Lee. Like, I just don't see that level of passion of makeup from them. To me, it feels really gimmicky, so I'm just not going to buy either of those palettes, and I probably am not going to be buying most palettes from most influencers that come out, with maybe some few exceptions, but I'm probably not gonna do that. So, that the second I say the name Geoffrey Star, I'm going to get criticism no matter where I fall. I just want to say he's coming out with this equality mini lipstick set where it has like all the colors of the rainbow. There's 8, it's $52 for minis, and it's all the colors of the rainbow, and proceeds from the sale will be going to LGBTQ youth, which I think is fantastic. And I also believe that Geoffrey Star is like trying to raise money for this charity. Like I don't think it's just like, oh, I'm trying to seem like I'm nice. I think he genuinely, that's something he cares about. This is not the first time he's done something like this. And I think that's fantastic. What I don't really like, I wish it had been like, instead of this box of minis where you're getting a bunch of colors where you're probably not going to wear most of them, like maybe you'll wear like the pinks, reds, and the blues, but not a lot of people wear bright aqua lipstick or like bright yellow lipstick. It's not really a common thing. I would have appreciated it more if he had done like maybe a collection of like limited edition full-size liquid lipsticks and maybe only done like 5 of them instead of the 9 or 8 or however many, and it's like little tiny baby ones where you're paying all this money. This is kind of OG Kimberly Clark thinking, but you're paying all this money to buy these lipsticks and you're realistically only going to wear half of what's inside the box on a daily basis. And those aren't going to last very long. Those minis are very, 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 very small. And I just feel like for what you're paying, you're not getting your money's worth out of it. If you're interested in the product and you want to buy it, buy it. But if you're just buying it because it's Pride Month and you want to do something to help a charity, like I'm pretty sure if you donate a certain amount to like the Trevor Project, they'll send you a t-shirt or something that you can have. Like, I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna donate money to a charity, just donate money to a charity. I think it's great that the proceeds for people who do want to buy it are going to charity, but if you're just buying it for that, like you're not even getting that much product. You're not even getting a lot of colors that are wearable that you're going to use. Just donate the money you would have spent on that to charity instead of buying the product, not really using it, and having that money go to charity, if that makes sense. Okay, finally, we've saved the best for last. Hooda Beauty came out with a rose gold remastered palette. I don't think the palette itself is what caused all the controversy. I think it's what Hooda Beauty said on her Instagram when she announced the palette that has caused an uproar. Even a little bit. I'm pretty non-offended about most things. Even to me, I was pretty annoyed. She basically said that I have the first palette. I might be biased because I bought the first palette, but I love this palette, mind you. Like, I think the more I use the 3D shades, the more I don't like them, but the mattes in here and the shimmers in here, I really, really, really like. I genuinely do like the initial palette, but I almost feel like
I was directly affected
by her marketing strategy to take this off the market, make it seem like it was never, ever, ever going to come back. And then she came out with this new remastered palette because I bought this like a week before it got discontinued because everyone kept telling me it was going to be discontinued and I'd wanted it for so long that I thought it was my last chance to get it. And I never do that. I think that's why I'm pissed. I never do that. I never let the limited edition hype get to me. Never. I never let it get to me, except in the case of this palette. I literally was so stressed about being able to get this palette, stressed about being able to afford it. I spent so much money on it. I spent so much time trying to find it. I have a whole video, like half of my video I talk about it in like a palette tag or something, how I love this palette so much because it took so much time and effort to get and because it was like exclusive that I was one of the last people to get it. Like that was exciting to me. And then I see this where she's coming out saying, hey, I know this palette was bad, so I came out with a new one that's the same exact palette, except we just did it better. It hasn't even been, it's like the Too Faced thing almost, like, except it's been like a year and a half since this palette came out. It's not been 20 years where you've had all of these new innovations in makeup. You had the means to create a palette that was better than this the first time around, so why didn't you? I just feel as though somebody else, who was I watching? I was watching like this girl. I'm going to try to find the video and link it below because I was watching a girl and her anti-hauls were so funny. Like they were actually hysterical. And she made a great point. Like nobody's first eyeshadow palette is good from any brand. Like, that's why they get discontinued over time and then they build from what they've done. You don't need to go back and like redo. That just is so, it makes no sense. And the thing I'm even a little bit more salty about is the people who have this new palette like love it. They think it's so good. It's like their favorite palette. And I love this palette. It is one of my favorites, but I hate some of these textured shades. And I look at this one with these beautiful buttery gorgeous shades and I'm like, well, and I also think it's pretty convenient. Had this go off sale at Sephora, you can't get it. Waited 3 months, which is conveniently their return policy window, so the last person who got this couldn't return it to get this new palette. I think that's really shady. I really, really do. I think it's so shady and so conniving, and the fact that, like, I don't know, I think it's really shady. I feel like because I fell for it, I'm just mad. I think I'm more just mad at myself for falling for it, but I'm also mad at a brand for doing something like this because I think it's just not really fair to the other. I hate the it's not fair game because I know it's just business. But it feels really like she didn't care about the initial people who supported her. And to come out and be like, well, it was trash, so now we're just like remaking it conveniently, and you can't return your other one because it's too late. And we said it was limited edition and you were never gonna be able to get it again, but we lied because literally the same exact palette except better just came out. I don't know. I'm salty. I'm just a salty Sally. Yeah, that's gonna be it for me. That's gonna be my anti-haul. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, or just subscribe, or do neither. I'm honestly just so happy you're watching me. I love you guys. Follow me on Twitter. It'll be linked down below, and I love you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!